Am I living? Oh, what a funny thing to say.
Like when you mime this song.
But your mama always said, look up into the sky, find the sun on a cloudy day, on a cloudy day. Your mama always said, look up into the sky, find the sun on a cloudy day, on a cloudy day. Your mama always said, look up into the sky.
Hello.
Hi, Nance.
Hello.
How you going?
We're back.
We're back. A brand new episode of Living. Guys, thanks for joining us again.
Hello.
It's wonderful to see you all here. We'll see you all here. Not everyone can maybe see us if you're...
Oh, this is a huge room.
This is true.
Oh, the stadium.
God, I can't see all those faces up in the nosebleed up there. No, if you are watching along, might be watching us on I don't even know.
Spotify. And
Spotify, definitely.
Yeah.
Do Apple Podcasts do the video as well?
not sure.
We're going to look into that. Okay, well, look, either way, we're
If
going to
you
figure
choose
that out. Hey, why not? Why not? Nance, today,
Famous encounters.
okay,
So we're going to talk about some famous people that we've encountered, but not just to name drop them.
No.
There's a reason why we will call some names out, because maybe how they left a mark on us or the way that they were so personable with us.
Yeah.
The list that we have, we wrote a few names down so we wouldn't forget, but the list could be endless. But it's not endless because not all the famous people we've encountered have been so lovely. They haven't been
not everybody
nasty.
made the list. Not
No,
everybody made the
that's
list.
what I mean. It's like these are the ones
Yeah.
that we walked away feeling warm and fuzzy. All the
Oh, yeah.
feels.
Yeah, definitely.
All the feels.
And it's one of those things, isn't it? It's a bit like they say don't meet your heroes because it can be disappointing. And a couple of people have been surprisingly
disappointing.
disappointing.
So they're not on the list. So
That's right.
We
And
won't
it's funny
be-
because this list is,
Yeah.
and I know that there are things or people.
I'll
things.
think of so many.
There's events
more.
and other people that I know that I haven't even put on. Oh my goodness. Can I include like Italian superstars, Italian pop stars?
Hey,
oh
they
my
gave you all the
God.
feels, and I don't mean all the feels. I don't want to know if they gave you all the
Okay,
feels.
well, it's a very different episode. No, definitely not. No, looking at this list, it's crazy to think of like some of the places I've been and the people I have shared space and time with.
And does it make you sort of just stop for a minute? Because nobody else would know. Like sometimes you might see someone on television and it just, you walk past and you think, I remember that time that
100%.
Do you know what I mean? And that's-
I love when I get to see actors that I've worked with in film or television or on stage, and when I see them pop up in like an advert or another episode of something, and you're like, oh, the time we got to spend together was so lovely. Like that's a good
Yes.
human, and I love seeing good people do
Yeah.
good things.
yes.
Sometimes you get the opposite where we see the people that we didn't enjoy working with so much, and you're like, how?
Or that's
How
right.
are they still going?
Or after we've had the opportunity to interview them,
Yeah.
I used to get excited when I see them on the TV, and now I'm like, schmet, and change the channel.
Schmesh?
Schmet.
I like that. Schmesh.
Schmet.
All right, well,
Next.
look, there's a few, and some of these are going to be big names. There's a few big names here, which I love.
That's good.
Well,
Who you got?
let me start. At,
Or why? And why? Just a
Okay.
quick one. Because,
Well,
we
okay, well,
have got long lists.
I've got a major one, right? And it's a bit of a double header. Back in 1996.
Oh, I remember.
Okay.
1996.
Right? No, wrong soundtrack. 1996.
Take me back.
Take me back. Michael Jackson embarking on his History World Tour.
Adelaide Oval.
Adelaide Oval.
I remember this. I was there as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, don't give away the punchline.
No.
But I, as you know, was a competitive ballroom dancer.
Yeah.
And cha. You still haven't seen it. It's coming, I promise. But what we're going to do with the ballroom dance studio that I used to be part of, Dance Gallery, still going on Henley Beach Road for all of your dancing
near
needs.
me.
Yeah, right near you, actually. Next time I come down, I should swing past and say good day to Rhett and Kim down there. Dance Gallery, I used to attend there for all of my dancing studies as a kid, and they were selected as the South Australian Dance Studio to be the kid dancers for Michael Jackson's concert. Nance.
Oh, kid dancers and Michael. Okay.
Oh, I know, and
No,
it's so funny. No, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And at the time, and it's funny telling this story now because I can tell you honestly, my opinions and feelings towards Michael Jackson have changed tremendously over the last decade. Growing up,
But not as an artist.
Not
or
as
a
an
singer.
artist.
Exactly. That's
not as an
yes.
artist or as a singer.
No.
As a person,
Correct.
I have some question marks.
Yes.
But at the time, right, 96, I'm 9 years old, coming out of, the 80s at his peak, this was the biggest thing the world had ever seen. I'll never forget the day. It was a Tuesday afternoon. My mum picked me up from school and she was acting all coy and like weird. And I remember being like, what's going on? And as we turned into the down ramp of Coles Newton, this is the detail I remember this moment, right? We're in mum's Chimera, the Holden Chimera. Woo! And she's like just acting bananas, like really strange. I'm like, Mum, what is going on? And she turns to me, Nance, and she goes, "You're going to be on stage with Michael Jackson!"
Oh, my ears.
Sorry for everybody listening.
Did that happen to you back then when she yelled that?
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
that was
God.
a quarter of the volume.
Oh, my gosh.
She like freaks out, like, "You're going to be on stage with Michael Jackson." And I just remember being like, "What?" And just bursting into tears at the idea of, what? Like, what are you telling me? And she's like, "They rang today, Rhett rang today. They want 20 kids to be like part of the kids dance troupe for the show.
Oh,
You're one of the 20.
God.
At the time, I'm freaking out, right?
Yes.
Anywho, so fast forward, we learned the choreography. We got to do Heal the World and Earth Song, and I think Black and White was the 3 songs we were on stage for. And we didn't, like the whole lead up to it, we're like, do we get to meet him? Do we get rehearsal? What does this look like? We got to have one meet with him. And so like on the day, they took us all to Adelaide Oval. We're in this amazing, huge tent. Human Nature, hence the double header part of this. Okay,
Yes.
Human Nature, who I have had wonderful
Support.
encounters with several times in my career, in my lifetime. Those guys are just the best humans. They'd just released their first single in 96 and they were the support act. So we had this, okay, we do rehearsal on stage, we go back, we then, Michael's coming. So it's like everybody gets to meet him once before the rehearsal.
Yes.
Before the show. That's
Yeah.
it. So they literally like lined us all up towards like walking towards his trailer. He then like came by, shook everybody's hand, said thank you so much for coming. It's so lovely to see you all here tonight. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but hey, it's on the record now. And like the moment of just shaking his hand and seeing him close up, and then being on stage later on, that.
Wow.
Wow.
Will last with you
Oh my
forever.
God, Nance, it's burned into my memory. We weren't allowed any photos with him. We have one photo that I think is still circulating the group of kids because some of us still stay in touch, which is
Yeah.
wild. With all of us standing at the front of his trailer. It's
Yeah.
just got the sign, Michael Jackson, but like no photos with him.
Yeah.
But oh my God. But Human Nature, the second part of this story. So MJ's the first part.
Yeah.
Lovely. Human Nature. So for dinner, between the rehearsal and the show, they're like, guys, dinner's served back in the what's the common area? The
Yeah.
common area, right?
Green room.
Green room. Thank you. Fuck. You'd think that I hadn't been in this industry.
Green room?
Well, the full moon is still wreaking havoc, Nance. We talked about that before. But we walked back to the green room. As a kid, I was only allowed McDonald's on special occasions. So to walk into a green room and see a mountain of cheeseburgers and trays full of chips and trays full of the cups full of Coca-Cola, and like it was like I felt like Richie Rich.
That
You know
is
what I
a
mean?
Mick happy day.
It's a Mick happy day. Let me tell you, Nancy Timpano. So we are sitting there. Who comes along to have dinner with us? Human Nature. And they were the sweetest. They came down and they were chatting with all of us
Yes.
guys and the kids. They're like, what do you do? You guys are dancing. How long have you been dancing for? Oh my God, I was a dancer. Just sharing like tales. And it's funny when you meet people like that when you are a child in the entertainment industry, because you said it probably like episode 1 of Livin'. You're like, maybe there's another Nancy or Vince out there listening and maybe this will help.
Yep.
And it's those moments of impact that I think of right now as we're
Yeah.
looking at these people and thinking who made the impact and why. And it was Human Nature for the time they took, not just in this occasion,
Yes.
but later on in life. Again, they've helped me out a couple of times, these guys, and been people I could call on for favors. We'll tell that story in detail in another episode perhaps, where they did a wedding video for my cousin for me. And it's just gorgeous, all the way from Vegas.
How awesome. Can
Good
I just
humans.
take you back, because this is Human Nature in your experience at 9 years old, that very same day, because
Yes.
I am older than you, you've gone home home. You've had your Maccas and you've gone
I've gone to
home.
bed like a happy kid.
So after the Michael Jackson concert,
Yes.
Human Nature had the after party at Heaven nightclub.
OG heaven.
And I had just won that year Miss Heaven. So I was part of the after party at Heaven nightclub.
The same night.
The same night that you'd eaten Macca's with Human Nature.
Wow.
I have to dig out the photo. I had this red ensemble on, but I did walk away going, great humans.
Great humans.
Great humans. And we performed I think I danced or whatever and they sung and yeah. So
I love
the
it.
same day.
Isn't that bizarre?
And we didn't even know each other.
Nance, we didn't even know he existed at that point.
No, but I existed way before. So you've gone home and I've gone to a club for the after party. There you go.
I love it. And now, isn't that funny? Like, as we worked together later on in life, it was the opposite. We'd finish working and you would go home to bed and I would go to the club.
Yes, absolutely.
Now we both just go home and go to bed.
Now we just 9 o'clock. See
Club
you later.
Lector, my favourite.
That's
Oh,
exactly
okay. So
right.
they're my first two. I'm going to start off with those. What about
Yeah.
you? Who else have you got?
Oh, look, I've mentioned her before, but local legend, Anne Wills.
Best.
The reason I'm calling her out for being an absolute good human
Yep.
is because of her generosity. It was second to none working with her. Her generosity in her sharing her experience with us, but obviously those of us, younger girls backstage and whatever, it was all about the makeup, the theatre makeup, the lashes, and she would, once a year go to America for the Oscars. And she would come home with suitcases full of lashes and dance tights and all these things. So she would rock up and just hand out, girls, have these. These are the best. These are the best.
Yeah.
Then, we went on to do dinners together and stuff like that. But the most beautiful, real, genuine, never in your wildest dreams. I say her name, Anne Wills, to let other people know what a legend she is. But to me, she was just Anne. Because
That's the best.
what a legend.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. So I'm calling her out again.
Love that. Love that. Local heroes.
Yep.
We've got a lot in Adelaide. There's a lot of phenomenal people that
Yep.
we get to share time with in our industry. And some of the, I just want to maybe put them together if I can, because there's such a big list.
Yeah.
But the nicest guy in media,
Oh,
you know exactly
I know.
who.
BR.
Brenton
Is it?
Raglas.
Yes,
100%.
I knew it.
100%.
I knew it.
I
knew it.
The time that he takes to communicate and connect with everybody.
Yes. He gives you that time. And even if it's 5-minute conversation,
I feel like we became best friends.
100%.
We got to chat about the kids and we
Yeah.
checked, how's work and career journeys and even decisions. I remember raising a conversation with Brenton probably the last time we were all together at the Royal Show and saying I'm just thinking about this. And he was like, well, what's holding you back, Vince?
Whoa.
Well, hang
Just
on.
in between. Yeah. Crazy.
Brenton, solving all my problems.
Yeah, and we even I shared my little pregnancy journey with Brenton Raglas because him and his wife and myself and Eugene, we used the same fertility professor.
Ah, fantastic.
So we had that in common. Professor
Excellent. No,
Rob
he-
Norman.
He is the nicest guy in media. Brenton Raglas, love him. Kate Collins, who he works with as
Yes.
well. She's lovely,
Gorgeous.
lovely. Swap channels.
Yeah.
Channel 7, Amelia.
Oh, love her.
Every single time that we get to cross paths.
Love her. Little
Gorgeous.
dynamite, that one.
Cozzy.
She is. Cozzy, yes.
Now,
Yeah.
Cozzy is one of those bigger than life characters, and then you meet him, and he's just as big in real life, but it's just like a big old hug with him, isn't it? Every single time.
100%. And I can't believe I didn't realise up until only, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks ago now, watching South Aussie with Cozzy, I only learnt that day that he, unlike as well as myself, both born in Murray Bridge.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't even know that. We have that in common.
Does Murray Bridge have like a paysan thing? How we do with the Italians. You're born, hey, you stay in the same village.
I mean, it is a thing. If I've heard, someone's born in
100%.
Murray Bridge, I'm like, oh my God. So that's
That's a
South
good
Aussie.
one.
Jodie Oddie.
Jodie Oddie.
Yes, absolutely. Worked with her at at a radio station back together when she was on air and I was working at the station in promotions, but someone that keeps it real. This is why I'm calling her out. Not because I've crossed paths with many more people, but we're calling out the ones that
Keep it real.
keep it real for us, have given us time, given us connection and continue to do so. They're the type that if I see them walk across the road, I'm going to run after them and know that they'll be happy to see me.
Yeah.
So
and not roll their eyes and say,
take a
she's
number,
girl.
take a number. So Jodie Oddie, who else have we got? We've met Jane Riley. Oh my gosh.
These are classics, and we're wanting some of our clock back here, like
Jane Riley,
Jane Riley,
former
AM Adelaide, and Weather Lady on Channel 10.
No, Jane Riley was Weather Girl in the
Yeah.
end. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was 9. I can't remember the channel. It could have been 10. No, it could have been 10. I don't know. But
I don't know. There's so many channels these days now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who else have we
Okay,
got
so
on?
I've got down a couple of people who we worked with at the Royal Show, and we had the pleasure of interviewing, who really like took the time they spent backstage with us to another level. And I'm talking about where they would literally spend the day,
Yes.
which not all guests would do because they had pretty tight schedules, or if they didn't, they would at their free discretion to go around, but they would spend the time back with us.
Yeah.
And not only break bread with us and eat with us,
Yeah.
but then share some of their journey and their story. John Howard,
Yes.
the actor, not
Yes.
the former Prime Minister, John
No.
Howard, the actor.
Yes.
We had such a great time, and he was so generous with, like, not only with me, but I remember him talking with some of the other younger cast members that were there performing that year about, make sure you discipline with your craft and sticking to your commitments that you've
Yeah.
got, and then also opening up your eyes to the options that come your way. Like, it was just one of those moments where you sit back and you watch someone give that conversation to people, and you're like, you don't have to do that.
And it's Blue
It's lovely.
Healers as well.
Damien,
Yes.
Damien Walsh Howling.
Oh,
I
okay,
always
so
get his
that,
last
no,
name.
no, no. That wasn't John Howard as well. Didn't he do a stint, maybe?
Yes. I think it might have been the same week, actually, now that we had that.
But I'm just
same
saying,
interview.
I'm just trying to give people like an idea if they can't visualise who we're talking about. I think John Howard was Blue Healers as well. But do you know what you were saying? A lot of these people that would come backstage to be interviewed, they had their own green room per se.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of them chose in between their downtime to come back and hang with us.
You're so right. He was on Blue Healers
Yes.
as well. I know him from Sea Change.
Yeah, oh, I love Sea
Packed to the Rafters, All Saints, Always
Yeah.
Greener. I must have stopped watching Blue Healers by that point.
Yeah,
Once,
no,
once
I
Lisa
totally-
McCune was gone, I was off, I'll be honest. Long time ago. But John Howard, the time that we spent backstage was excellent. And Damien Walsh Howling, also from Blue
Yes.
Healers.
Yeah, you guys were just chatty. I was
Nah.
like, hello,
Nah, it
what
was
about
so
me?
good. But like, he just brought a verve and an energy with him. Like, he wanted to be engaged, and he wanted to ask questions about us and our work, and then he shared about like the documentary he'd been working on, which was again something I didn't expect from him at all.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was working as a producer, but like then we went into production and we started
Yeah.
talking about that, and again, like you said, you felt a bit kept out
No,
there
because
on
you
the
guys
outer-
were that was awesome.
We could have talked underwater that day, I think.
Oh, that's
excellent.
awesome.
He's on the list for sure. Call him
Johnny Ruffo.
out.
Oh, what an absolute legend. Battling his own journey at the moment.
yeah.
But do you remember, Kuji? By the end of it, he was calling me Kujina, like
But
cousin
like,
in Italian.
100%.
The comfort, I was like, so cheeky.
We had the pleasure of catching up with him probably 2 or 3 times, I reckon,
Yes.
over the time that we worked with Channel 7. Now, every single time, it was like that from day one. The familiarity and
Yes.
the personability that he brought to the communication. Like, he would
my
walk in and
gosh.
you would be like your best mates. Benny,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And every time, not just with us, again, with everybody, no matter
That's
who,
right.
people coming in to empty the bins, people who are running the show, the
Yep.
CEOs of the organisations. Johnny Ruffo, Lynn McGranger.
Yes, who they visited with Johnny and was always
Best.
telling him off, saying like, just, he was
Real
so
mother hen.
cheeky, and she
Yeah.
was trying to keep him in line, but we loved that.
100%.
Didn't we? I love that photo that we've got with those guys.
We've got so
as
many.
well.
We're going to have to put a collage
Cassandra
together.
Clementi, when she came
South
backstage,
Australian, yeah.
yes, we discovered that I actually taught her dance as a youngster at the Johnny Young Talent School. I was her first dance teacher. Yes,
See, I like that.
Claiming
Full
it,
circle.
claiming
Full
it.
circle.
But again, when it was the nicety about this encounter was it wasn't that like we were having conversation, and that's how we learned that I was her former dance teacher. It wasn't me saying, "Oh, I used to teach you dance." We were just conversing, and then we've gone, "Hang on a minute, me too." And then we've gone, "Oh my gosh, I remember you."
Yeah.
So it was that.
love
This
that.
is why we're calling it out.
Yeah.
We're not just name dropping. Nat Dunn.
AKA formerly Tali, you might know her as, but now Nat Dunn on all of her singles, musician, wonderful artist. Wonderful.
Oh my gosh, please look up Nat Dunn.
And we've known Nat for a long time.
I
She's
love-
one of those people who still sends like those beautiful messages of support out of the blue.
Good human.
Yeah.
Absolutely love Nat Dunn. Please, please, please do yourself a favour. One of her first albums, I think it was her first album, please look her up. Mango Tree is one of the songs, and I'm trying to think of the other one, Walk Alone or something. Oh, for those people that sometimes, you do have a tough day, please look up Nat Dunn. And please, are you looking up the list, the song list?
I am.
Mango Tree, if you tell me one of the other, I can't check on my phone now, but there's another song, but it's the lyrics that she'll...
A Fool's Fate?
Yes. No, Fool's Fate. No, that wasn't the one that the lyrics I was... It was something about walking.
Oh, We'll Walk.
We'll walk.
We'll walk.
And we'll walk. I'm trying to think of the... I don't want to sing.
Mango Tree, Let Me Down.
No. It's that one. We'll walk. We'll walk. Nat Dunn. Look her up on Spotify. And if that song doesn't hit a nerve with you, well, that's awesome. Because
What are you, a robot?
No, it's good if it doesn't, because it means maybe you've never been in that dark place.
Ooh.
But if you have ever had those, dark thoughts, she has some beautiful music. So look her up.
Absolutely. Nat Dunn. Jordan DeSena, another local artist who I love, and I love that boy.
Jordan.
Like, we've known Jordan from the beginning of the journey. We got to see him.
He was on Talent on Show.
Yeah,
so he
that's how he
a
started.
talent quest.
That's right.
And then now he's gone off. He's releasing albums,
Releasing albums, brand new singles. He's actually performing on cruises at the moment.
Yeah.
He's doing one out of Perth at the moment, I think. But he, phenomenal guy. Even when we ran into him just recently, we
At
were
the
out.
Fringe, we
at
were
the Fringe,
together,
we bumped
we
into him,
saw
and it was
him.
just like a little family reunion. No, he's always the most down to earth guy you've ever met, and God, he can sing and write some songs. That boy.
Absolutely. And you know that I've grown up with Sally, that was in Bardo.
Yes.
We grew up together from, childhood. And even though once she got into Bardo and, obviously very, very busy, there was probably a big lull that we kind of lost a bit of contact.
Yeah.
But, 30 years down track, our friendship still continues.
Yeah.
And it's not one of those ones we have to ring each other every week. But when we touch base, it's literally just checking in on each other, making sure we're okay. And that's beautiful that, got people like that.
They're the relationships that really stand the test of time, where you don't have to be in each other's pocket.
No.
And it doesn't matter how long has gone by, but when you pick up, it's just like yesterday.
That's right.
I
That's
love
right.
those
And
ones.
it's not I called you last, now I'm going to wait for you. That's,
People still do that.
low maintenance.
I don't have anybody in
love
my
that.
life like that
Yeah.
anymore.
I probably used to, but not anymore.
That's what I'm saying. That's a different discussion. That's a different episode about
yeah,
getting
yeah.
rid of those. Who else, Nance? I've got Guy Sebastian down a couple of times. We've talked
Yeah.
about him a little bit. I know that
Of
you used to
course.
be in the band with him.
Yeah.
I know that he did that video for your nephew's wedding, which was so lovely. I've worked with him during the Australian Idol years, and then
Yes.
met him again thereafter. And every single time we cross paths, always the nicest guy.
The last time I actually crossed paths personally with Guy was about actually 5 or 6 years ago. We were in Sydney, Eugene and I, for an A-League awards night, and it was so nice. We were all dressed up, and had been to the awards night, and of course you've been given finger food, so we've left there starving. So we're walking down the streets of Sydney, and Guy was having dinner with Jules in a restaurant in Sydney, which I didn't know. We'd obviously walked past the window, and he spotted me. So he's actually run out and he's tapped Eugene on the shoulder because I didn't notice. And he's actually sort of, motioned to Eugene, can I grab her? I want to just sneak up on her. And Eugene's like, absolutely, take her. I don't care. Oh my God, you're Guy Sebastian. So he tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around and I was in such a fright, and I was like, oh my God. But the fact that he took the time, he was having dinner with his wife in a restaurant, hadn't seen him for a few years, yet Guy's run out of the restaurant, tapped Huge on the shoulder and said, hey, do you mind if I just say hi to Nancy? Good human.
Good humans.
Good human.
There's a lot of them. Hans.
Oh yes, you've had more work to do.
Matt.
Dealings with
Like,
Hans.
And look, he's obviously just coming back to the stage after his fall. But Matt is always, he's always shown me time, kindness, and offered support. And obviously his performance, Hans, his alter ego, phenomenal.
Yep.
Love.
Speaking of support, kindness and all those things, can I actually call out the Cahill family? I'm
Sure.
not just calling out Tim Cahill, but the entire, you know where it stems from when you meet the family.
Isn't that even better when you see the whole family, like
yes.
they all represent that same ethos and way of living and kindness?
But I felt like I was, you could have called me Nancy Cahill because they made me feel like one of the family.
So that's lovely.
When I was, lucky enough to go to Brazil for the World Cup, the families, we all stayed together at the same hotel. And, Beck Cahill, Tim's wife, what an absolute legend. And again, we talked about this in another episode when we spoke about what you do for work and we say just.
Yeah.
That's how I felt that night. I was going to the shops. Me and Beck were going to buy some supplies to keep in our hotel room.
Yeah.
And I was in the little bus, the chauffeured bus going there, and I was with Beck Cahill, and I was with Nat Yedinak, which at the time I think her husband was the captain of the Socceroos, and I was with the Socceroos doctor's wife. There was only 4 of us. We decided to get on one of the little chauffeured buses and go to get some snacks. And I'm in the bus and I'm feeling like a pea, this big compared to these big names. And I was like doing all the justs you could imagine. Could you imagine?
I can imagine.
But they took me under their wing and we just hung out.
Yeah, that's lovely.
We still message each and every one of us. They come from beautiful, beautiful pedigree, can I just say. The brothers looking out for us.
Yep.
My experience with the Cahill family is unbelievable. It started with Sissy and Senior Tim, the parents. Thank you for being good humans.
I love that. And like I said, when you see the whole family, I love when you meet someone, you're like, oh, where do you come from? And then you see it and you're like, that makes sense. It starts at home, hey?
It does.
It really does. Nance, this list is far too long, I think. And like you said, we really just wanted to call out specific people for why. So, look, the big things to get on this list, people, if you want to be called out.
Be a good human.
Be a good human.
And we're name dropping because you're a good human.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week for another episode of Living.
Am I living? Oh, what a funny thing to say. But your mama always said, look up into the sky, find the sun on a cloudy day, on a cloudy day.